yeah, I don't know, try to convince us otherwise. Oh yeah, okay. So this is the one I think we definitely we mentioned this before. EVO 2020. With Corona going on, we already were speculating like, all right, this is most likely going to be canceled, especially when there was already reports of people, the employees that were like basically contracting the virus, and like and with everything right now still in shutdown for a lot of places, we already knew EVO's going to get shut down, but were they going to do an online? And the answer is they are. We're going to have EVO 2020 online edition. Bruh, save me now. I'm going to have the biggest bag of popcorn I could order from Amazon with a bottle of Henny. I'm just going to be laughing, bro. Like, how are you going to have high stakes? I was telling my boys, like, how are you going to have a high stakes tournament? One of the most high stakes tournament just in terms of like money, like payout, and just viewership, and you're gonna put that online for games that in the lineup whose net code is nowhere where it needs to be to actually have a major online tournament for.
I hate to say this, but this might be the last Evo.
You think this will be the last Evo?
It might be, because with Evo, like the organization of Evo is doing this because they don't have much of a choice. They don't have the choice to be like, hey, we're gonna sit this year out, blah blah blah. Like people have invested money in Evo, time and money into Evo to see it through, and there's no way that they could just cancel it and come back. It's not like the Olympics, which are like, oh hey, we're gonna cancel this year and come back, or like sports, where they're like, yo, we'll cancel the season, come back. There's not enough money behind fighting games alone, let alone Evo, for it to cancel itself and not do something like this.
But then
Even
even
though they
they started
know,
Evo Japan. That was like that they're trying to expand the Evo like tournament like bracket. Like so within that, and that's been doing good. Like, and I mean they managed to get Evo Japan in before shit hit. So that was lucky for them.
yeah, it was doing good before the pandemic. But
Yeah.
the thing that brings Evo, that makes Evo, is the experience of going there, and these players from different countries playing each other live. The event behind it. Like the world largely doesn't have good enough internet for this to be a success, let alone you know you thinking you're going to get a good match in grand finals of Daigo versus like Justin Wong. Like no, like like if everybody had Korean, like the world had the internet Koreans have, then maybe. But right now, like people have varying internet. Like this is a move that shows that like they can't afford to sit out in Evo.
Yeah, I think what it is like because what it would mean is one, you're still gonna get because people are gonna enter. There's still people gonna enter. There's probably what might happen is more people might even enter. Whereas like, oh, I could technically enter Evo from home and not have to travel all the way to Las Vegas. Which I mean, honestly, that's great for some. That's people. I mean, I guess people say, yeah, I participated in an Evo from my own room and and stuff like that, but you're right, what it is, people, the experience of Evo, that what separates it from all the other majors is going to be completely missing from this, completely missing this year, and that's just due to Corona. That's something that no one can help. Like everything's canceled this year. Like this 2020 is pretty much most part has been canceled by Corona. But to your point though, what would this like how this is something that I see is very new for Evo that they have to do because they do have no choice to try it out, but I just know it's gonna go badly. I don't think it's
Yeah,
gonna
and
per se cancel. I feel like they'll just try to they're gonna try to they're gonna try to make up for this year next year, because I
well,
think the demand for players who want to come out to compete will always be there. And I think even why people Japan work so well is because there's a huge number of people in Japan that like we want to go to Evo, but we just can't or all get permission to travel or go, from work or for to go to the States. So it's like, all right, we'll bring Evo to you guys, and then so they might just keep doing that and have Evo in other countries in the long term,
Well,
or in certain parts of the world, Evo Europe, like shit like that.
well, Evo itself isn't like a corporation. Evo, like many other events, are grassroots. So a
Yeah,
lot of these organizations, like people that organize these tournaments and put time and money and effort into it, barely break even with these events. Let alone like, and that's on like the positive side. There's people that have successful events and that come out at a loss. Like because like and it, like some of the like other majors that don't have the backing of Evo, like are experiencing that. Like I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these places, like a lot of these tournaments, sat out next year or just didn't return because of this. Now Evo, like saying that it might be the last Evo, a little dramatic, I'll admit, but like the organization as itself, I'm not sure that it has enough money where it could sit out like one Evo tournament and come back next year. So this is a move that they have to do. Like they feel like they have to make this happen. The the thing of it though is like because of how iffy we expect it to be, that it may put it it might look bad for like future investments and stuff of it. And I guess, people understand like yes, we're in a pandemic and stuff like that, but sometimes it's like better to like not have it than to force it and it just go bad.
Hmm.
Like I don't know the full details of like how they're doing it, but like again, like we don't have internet that's that great where someone like Street Fighter now is bad if I'm playing somebody from like California. There's no way I can play somebody in like Korea. And like the net code for these fighting games are nowhere near as good as like League of Legends and other games that have solid net code where
Right.
that can work. So
So this
because
is
these
the
games have bad net code and we have bad internet, this is going to be bad results.
this is what a friend of mine was saying. So let me just actually adjust myself here, because this is actually a really interesting argument, because the whole moment I just think back to when like fighting games was just getting online like play, like Street Fighter 4 was like really big for Street Fighter going into the next gen consoles at the time, because it was basically, I don't have to sit next to you to play fighting games. I could play with anyone really, around the world and whatnot. Like, so we had that impression with Street Fighter 4, which is why I think Street Fighter 4 was like really big for Capcom. We saw how that went and realized that netcode in fighting games is something that definitely needs to be taken a look at. And I think over the years, you would think, yes, it has improved, but it has improved to the point that it's playable to run tournaments, like how, like even right now, like there's like Valorant tournaments for like the Riot shooter that literally started happening like a week after the game was like out in beta, because the netcode, you could just run this game, like, yeah, you could just do tournaments with people and teams and whatnot. Other games like League of Legends, like Dota, you got Overwatch. Like you could do online tournaments for those games. Why not fighting games? Because even to this day, netcode is still ass. So
Yeah,
what
and
this
fighting
will
games.
do? Oh, my
Sorry,
bad. I would say what this will do is put basically the publishers of those games on the spot and just be like, yo, like, yeah, this event went bad, but whose fault really that it went bad? The fact that we did our job, we put the event together, we brought the people to your door, because I think Capcom still is gonna has to they have to like and like sponsor the Street Fighter tournament for this event, because they just have to this year. It's their big way of promoting, like either trailers or stuff that they're working on. Like, and then that's a lot for other games too, especially ones that just came out this year. Grand Blue, Samurai Showdown. I got another that's gonna be on main stage. Is this Samurai? I gotta watch the lineup again actually. But like
yo,
you
what
have
is
all
main
these
stage
games.
now? What is main
Um,
stage if
I don't
everything's
think it
online?
changed. No, no,
Like,
no, 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 no. Yeah,
no,
you're right. You're
no,
right.
like conceptually, what is
What's
main
main
stage now?
stage?
It doesn't matter now. There's no stage.
Yo, you need
They're
to
all gonna
relax.
be
It's not the
streamable.
Wild Wild West now that we're all online. You're acting like every man for themselves. Every title for themselves. There's
It's all
still
gonna be
order.
on Twitch,
There's
and
still order. All
and I
right.
guarantee like the freaking Blaze BB tag stream is gonna be more
Yo,
popular than
don't
some of
let your
these.
stream your inner stream monster take over you. Don't let your inner stream venom symbiote take over you, nigga. Dog. I can
But what
see
I'm
it. It's
but
not
what
the
I'm
end of the
saying is
world.
this, right?
I don't think it's the end of evil.
Like I
It,
get that Evo has to run. There's a lot of investment dollars behind it and stuff like that. But my point, my greater point that like they like this is a bad move and they kind of have no choice but to do this move still stands. Like, investors are pushing to come up with a solution. And
right.
yes, like, these games don't have great netcode, but the problem is fighting games are not popular like that. Fighting games are not that popular where it like warrants running a dedicated server to mitigate
So yeah, we're gonna
like
peep
that.
this. Yeah.
Like if fighting games
Yeah.
were
I
like
remember
first
that.
person shooters, we
Nah.
wouldn't have netcode problems because there'd be dedicated servers that people sync up to and then play. But the way that fighting games do is peer to peer, which is why
Yeah.
like you can pick up Street Fighter 4 now and search online and possibly play people because they're not shutting down those servers. There's no server to shut down. It's all peer to peer, GGPO. So and like
And
because
that ain't
fighting games
good.
get that big, we will always have this problem. I don't think it's a problem with the developer because Capcom like doesn't see a point in like investing money in servers and stuff like that for a game
So
that
the game will never take off the ground. Like I feel like if the game could get an online scene and get online tournaments, smaller, big, consistently happening online, like these other games do. Because Overwatch, as what makes it so big, and these other shooters so big, is like ones there's really big. Yes, there's really big events, but fighting games depends on really big events like majors and stuff to get people out. But if they could do also sub events online, like some of these other games could do as well, it could also just bring more people in, get more people incentive to get in to play because fighting games is an investment if you really trying to really enjoy it to the fullest. Because if you want to travel to these events, depending on where you are, what part of the country you're in, even if you're in the same part of the country, there's people who come out from other countries to try to come to Evo. So
well
I mean,
the
it's
investment
just
for fighting games
it's not being
it's
made by
more
the
than that.
developers. It's not being
The
made by the developers. That's what I think. It's just not like we can't. The game can't scene can't grow. The developers don't give us what we need to make it grow.
well, so the thing
Bar, you
is,
know what
it's
I'm
like
saying?
the the investment for fighting games is more than just traveling and these offline events. Like the investment is learning fighting games. Fighting games are not easy to pick up, and they're definitely not easy to master. Whereas things like Overwatch, not only do they have like they created the game a certain style that's appealing to a lot of people. It's a team based shooter for one. So now when you watch these events, you're not just looking for an individual, you're looking at a team. You're invested in that team. But then also like you know, these shooters are so easy to pick up and play. Now you might not be like the greatest at it, but it's easier to pick up and play. Like it's easier for me to get my first kill in Call of Duty than it is for me to learn how to do it. Like, and it's just that like because of like how mainstream people like the mainstream consumers are, like they don't want to learn. Like they don't necessarily want to learn all this stuff, which is why fighting games are getting like they're dumbing down fighting games even more because they know that the mainstream audience wants an experience that they can just pick up and play. Like they don't want to like for me to play Call of Duty, I don't have to learn what kind of gun this is. I don't need to learn like how to shoot the gun. I hold the left trigger, I press the right trigger, I shoot. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to learn inputs. Like I just
But
pick it up and I play.
but
Where
the
with fighting games, it's a
it's
lot more to it.
yeah, no, the skill cap, the ceiling, and getting in is definitely it's not beginner friendly for fighting games. And I think there's people on Twitch. I was peeping some streams. There are actually people were definitely talking about how to make fighting games there's no so this was the argument that was being put out, and I agree. I don't think necessarily dumbing games down to a to a severe degree for some games. I don't think dumbing the game down is the problem to get people in. I don't think that's what it is. That's not that's not the main problem. That's not, oh, we solved this. Well, everybody is just gonna be jumping to get in or start learning fighting games. No, I don't agree that's what it is. Um
No, it's just
and
they also don't. It like I said, like it's hard to dumb down fighting games like to a point where it's universally acceptable for the people that play them.
Exactly. I think it's just the concept. It's just not possible because it's
But even
just
still, it's like, beyond that, let's say the skill gap thing is fixed. Everybody can play fighting games. Like let's just say like fighting games all played like Tekken and Soul Calibur, where new players can just pick it up and feel like they're doing something, but advanced players can really get going. Fighting games have like in order for fighting games to take off, it relies on the community and it relies on personalities. And the fighting games, like, they don't really have marketable personalities. You can't.
nah, not many, not many.
Fortnite blew up because of people like Ninja and Pokemon and all these other people that are marketable. So Twitch got behind them, Fortnite got behind them, and it blew up. Fortnite, it's an alright game, but the personalities are what drive it. Same with PUBG. Doctor Disrespect was the person that helped drive that, but nobody's really driving fighting games. You have these people that play multiple fighting games and stuff like that, but then even still, like they're not much of
Well,
personalities. Like you have Sonic Fox that literally plays everything. But Sonic Fox isn't like super marketable. Like nothing against him, but like if you're going to pick somebody like Ninja or Sonic Fox to get behind, you're picking Ninja. And it's not because like, it's not a race thing or anything like that. It's just Ninja is more marketable and stuff like that.
I would,
We don't have
my
any
counter argument to
people.
that. Sorry, was to cut you. I think counter argument to that. I think it's the fact that we only have one Sonic Fox. I think the thing is like compared. I feel like no. I think compared to Sonic Fox, he has more personality than a lot of these other players because it's not. Think about it. It's like you said, personality. Like he has personality. Like he's a character. Like you see him. He comes out. He comes on his costume. It's furry costumes. I don't have any opinions about furries. I don't know why I have to make a furry disclaimer. But like I don't like he's a personality. You see him. He's somebody. Whether if he was a really good player, a top player or not, you see him. Like I remember that guy. That guy was wearing like a fur costume, had a tail coming. Like I saw him when he's playing. So he's marketable, but there's only one of him. Everybody else is either dry, or they only care about the fighting game that they're playing, or they're just not. They're not interesting. Like not fair to say they're
Well,
just not
you also
interesting.
don't. The way it is too with fighting games, like they don't really also give a lot of room for personalities. Like they don't care about your personality per se, except for like the only exception to this is LTG because like he trolls in like his whole situation where he got banned or whatever. But people find that like entertaining. Beyond that, like people solely care about your skill. There aren't people that are like entertaining and good. Like even LTG, like you know, people find him entertaining, but he doesn't like he loses a lot more than he wins, you know what I mean? So like even in that situation, like it's more than just having the personality. And a lot of these good players that dominate lack the personality because they play multiple games. So it makes it hard for like, them to, bring up other personalities in there. So like say like I've been watching like the Jordan docs. So say like Jordan and the Bulls, they did NBA and then they did D League and then they went overseas to play different teams. Like you wouldn't care about other teams in other leagues because all you see is the Bulls dominating everywhere they go, rather than them just sticking to NBA and that's it. So like let's say Sonic Fox is just straight up like Mortal Kombat, that will give other people in other games a chance to, you know, grow upon them. And it also requires them to, get good, don't get me wrong, but a lot of these top players also make it difficult for other good players to get on because like they're gatekeeping. Like the gatekeeping keeps a
Why
lot of
you
good
why you
personalities out.
saying it like that? They gate you. See, it sound like someone gatekeep you, just like last week. Like
No, but
who?
but the truth of it is like because fighting games don't bring in that much money, like because of there not being that crazy of an audience there. And again, all this stuff loops into each other, but at some point you got to find a point of entry to fix it. But like you'll have somebody like Justin Wong or like Infiltration that enters damn near every game, and because they're really good at just fighting games in general, like they'll dominate, and then the attention will come to them rather than other skilled players that may have personalities and stuff like that.
Yo, but
Now,
speaking of no, infiltration has personalities, but then I think what happened to him was it was outside. His personal life was leaked into his personal life got out, and it pretty much affected and near end basically what professional fighting game career uh he had at the time. So like, and even infiltration for somebody who was from overseas, he had personality. I know. I think there is people with personality. I think what it is, one, fighting games, one, it is a niche genre. It's hard to get into. The people who have personalities, not a lot of them, and they're not. And even the ones that do have personality, like I said, we only have one Sonic Fox who has like that personality that just jumps out to you. And then I would say after him would be like infiltration, who like you see him, but like you see him play, you see how he is like in tournaments, and like you're like, damn, this guy's really good. And then you see, and then he streams, catches streams, and you hear this dude talk about stuff. Like this dude's like hilarious. Like this dude like he's a really funny guy. Like he's a really funny person. Um, and I was just like, wow, I didn't expect that. So like you get that side of it. You know, he looks really serious when he's playing games, especially how he plays fighting games and stuff like that. Um, and then you get that personality out of him. So it's like you get that the two-sided coin type of thing. But that's two. Like
Well,
to
you
to
also don't get to see enough of the people, which is like to
if
your point.
online tournaments was more
But
solidified,
so
then it will
you know
get
what made
other
Halo like?
players who could play, who could
Hold on,
then make a living. Because this who could make
hold
who
on,
could.
Skip. Hold on,
Oh, well, all
Skip.
right, all right, all right, all
Listen,
right. Calm it down. Calm it down.
the
Hold me
thing
down.
that made Halo and other shooters really good, especially during the MLG era, is because again, something that they're even doing in the NFL now, where like you could hear what the players are saying in their helmets. That was a big thing with MLG because with Halo 2 and stuff like that, you hear these people talking and communicating. You feel like you're a part of it. Like you don't have that kind of team-based stuff in fighting games. It's all the individual.
It's
Like
all
it's
the
damn near
individual.
golf. It's damn near golf. And people, how many golfers do you know? Pop
Individual.
quiz.
No, but it's like I know there's the team, but everybody always gravitates towards that one player, even when it's a team. It's always I just think it just takes that one player because it's like you have a team, but Ninja's Ninja, or like even on teams like
Well,
TSM for
even
League, or like damn, my keyboard's flying, like TSM for League, or like you have your fakers, you have your double lifts. Like there's still those names that like that has the following to have the weight of like, yo, this person's either really good or they're
yeah, but
like
it's the
Tyler won.
organization. It's the organization.
Yo,
Jordan was the greatest basketball player of all time. People will say that. The Bulls organization is revered as one of the greatest basketball organizations of all time. Granted, they didn't win as much championships as like the Lakers or the Celtics, but they're in that talk. It's the organization that draws people to it. Like the players first, yes, absolutely. The players, if it weren't for good players, the organization would be trash. But like, look at it this way, right? People love the Lakers even if they're trash now because of the history of the organization carried on through the players. You had Magic and, then you had Kobe, LeBron's there now, Shaq was there, and that organization is what helps tells the story of the player. Like without that organization, like, and even they tried a bit in teams, but like the team itself, like everybody could be on like Daigo's team as a sponsorship, but like
Dago has a team. Basically,
it's not
team the
even a team.
beast. It isn't. Yo,
It's
he
not a
no. He
team.
holds his people down. He was like, yo. He was like, yo.
Is
I
it a
saw. I
team
watched.
if
It's a
they enter
team.
bracket and they have to fight each other? Isn't it? This
That
not really a
happens.
team.
Okay, but
It's
that's
just a
the
tag.
essence. That's the essence of fighting games. That's what makes it different from other
Where's
games.
the moderator? We need a
We do need
moderator
a moderator. This is Defend It. Welcome to Defend
because
It, ladies and gentlemen. My man
because
out
here's
here.
the thing with teams, right? In teams, unless it's like the Olympics, there was never a time where
Mhm.
somebody from the Bulls played against the Bulls, except for like when Tony Kukoc was in like the Olympics and he played for his country. That's it.
All
But
right.
there's a time where you're gonna see
Oh,
Scottie
you hear
Pippen
that? I
guarding
think your
Jordan unless
headphones.
it's practice.
Maybe
Huh?
it's me. It's like some buzzing. I didn't mean to like
Oh,
potentially.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I just hear like some feedback. I mean, it's better now. I think I don't hear it anymore. Wait, just talk.
Okay. Yeah, but there's never been a
Oh yeah, yeah,
situation.
it's even more. Hold on.
Any better? Yes,
All
no?
right, it's on your end.
All right, hold on.
It's you.
All right, how's that sound?
All right, you're perfect now. All right,
All right.
cool.
No, but so teams and fighting games don't matter basically because you guys are going to meet in bracket and have to play each other. Then you're not a team at that point. It's just a tag. You guys have the same sponsor. You're not on a team.
That's the instance of, but like that's like fighting game. It's like, yeah, no, because the thing is like
The
that's
only time a team
no one
matters
likes a team
is in
kill.
like crew battles and like co-op cup.
But there is
That's
crew
it.
battles though. There is
Okay,
like
but
crew
nobody wants to do crew battles, and those
USA
aren't. They're not like they're not
crew
put on
battles
a
needs to be
pedestal.
taken to the next level.
That's what's gonna help fighting games because people like the individual is cool. Like people love Tiger Woods because he's the exception, not the rule. There are so many other golfers that are good that go completely under the radar to us. NASCAR, same thing. You can name maybe 3 NASCAR drivers. If
Jeff Gordon, Jeff Gordon, Jeff Gordon.
exactly because the individual has done amazing things, but
Oh, yeah.
the team like in team-based sports, it's like yes, the Bulls were you know like Michael Jordan was the selling point of the Bulls because he was like the greatest player at the time. But then we also knew Pippen, we also knew Kukoc, we also knew Rodman. You know what I mean? Other people on the team that helped make that success. If they did more about like crew battles and stuff like that, we might have a different story because then actually like these sponsors could actually have teams.
But even sports, those
Which will
people are
then
naturally. Some people are naturally interesting. Even people that are not interesting, they're interesting because they're not interesting. Like Tim Duncan, he's interesting because that's the most driest man on earth. But
let
let's not even
teams
get
try.
into that. But
But,
okay, the
but
teams. You saying teams? All right, just for the
so
sake of time too. Also, because we have other topics.
all right, let me just get my
Continue
closing
this.
remark. I'm a closing
All right,
remark.
all right, all
Listen,
right.
if there were like a team setting, like in fighting games, that would make a push to then be able to put better netcode behind it because now it's not just about the individual, it's about the team. Teams can then go online, do crew battles and stuff like that, earn Capcom Club points. And if you took the individuality out of like fighting games and made it more team like, then that could help solve the issue because then when there's like a team behind it, there's an opportunity to sell jerseys and merchandise behind this team that is more exaggerated. Then it's like, okay, developers like Capcom are like, all right, I can put money into like a server because like now there is a bigger following because there is a team. There's something greater than the individual that they can be invested into it.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I agree. No, I think that's why the concept of crew battles. I think even if crew battles is taken to the next level, if anything for esports with fighting games, crew battles should be taken to a more at the next level because even the concept of crew battles, like you have team order, you have people who are specialized in characters depending on the game. Oh, this guy plays this certain character, or this person's the all arounder. This guy's our clutch. He's so like especially when you're facing other teams, and then you're able and then that gives people like. So I mean I don't even know why I'm just thinking this right now, and I'm just going in like this could even get like you even have the commentators that will like sports that could be more sports center like because they could just talk to the teams as if like we all know this person if he goes first this is his main character this is who he goes with but if the other team if they start this way then it might be rough for him he might be a rough start for them because he naturally had placed his hard counter or he had trouble facing him in the past I think stuff like that with crew battles could definitely market esports better to get people in. If you want more of the sports, the team, feeling the sense of belonging to a group, maybe even factions for fighting games. Maybe even like I know Team USA. I think there should be more like Team USA versus Team Japan or versus
Well,
Team Europe type of. They should be that. They should
quickly
be
to interject, the Olympics was going to do that because Street Fighter was going to be there for the Olympics.
right. That's how they were gonna do it. Boom. You see that right there. I
Yeah,
think that's my closing
they
remark.
just
I
got to put
think
more
it.
respect on crew battles, and then it can grow. And they also have to accept esports. We like the
Yeah.
community has to be willing to evolve past the grassroots in order for it to become something bigger.
But my number one, this is my last thing. My finger is like gone. But basically, the publisher, it all to how far a game could go, you got to give the bare minimum. If the game can't run online, people can't make a community online. If the game can't is not playable online, people will just not play it, no matter how good it is. If it's not playable, it won't be played, and that's just the truth. Or every fighting game that came and went, if
That
Give it
does
the
lead
damn
to a
net
deeper
code.
discussion about like how Japan views gaming and like that kind of netcode now works for Japan but not here. But we got other topics, so
Yes, we do.
and
If you want to hear more, you just gotta keep gotta follow our content.
let's